Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about this new Doctor Who game that's coming out again, and today I'm going to be going into a little bit more of my hopes and desires from this game. So some of these things are things I covered last time in my video from last week, and some of these things are going to be brand new things I'm talking about for the first time. And I think something important to also keep in mind is that I've never played the Doctor Who Edge of Time game. I've never even watched gameplay of it. Simply because I just don't find VR games that enjoyable to watch, so I haven't really seen anything of that, so keep that in mind while I'm talking about the things for this game. So without any further ado guys, let's get started. So the first thing that I really want to come for this game is I really want to see old doctors and old companions in this game. Because apparently the last game, Edge of Time, is about the 13th Doctor and, you know, something with her adventure. And that's fine and all, but I really want there to be more legacy in there. I want it to be a little bit more than just the 13th Doctor, because as you all know, the 13th Doctor has yet to impress a lot of people. And it's not that I don't love the 13th, actually I really don't love the 13th Doctor. It's not that I don't like the 13th Doctor, but it's that she doesn't really have much of a legacy behind her yet, and I really want this game to have a big impact on the Doctor Who community. So having people like the 10th Doctor, the 11th Doctor, the 12th Doctor, the 9th Doctor even, having, you know, it doesn't even have to be all of them, just having like a couple of them come in and have their own parts of the game, that would be huge. Personally, I would just love this game to be a whole game devoted to the 10th Doctor, but, you know, that's not going to happen. That's just me wishing. But just having old doctors and old companions come back, I mean, just having the Doctor traveling with Donna, I mean, I know Catherine Tate would be more than willing to bring her voice to this game for Donna Noble, and then maybe having Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill return with Matt Smith. Like, just having all of that would be just amazing. Having all of them come together and do this amazing big project, and maybe even doing something almost like, I guess, the Day of the Doctor, where they have multiple doctors coming together and their companions working together. Like, that's just something I love. I mean, Day of the Doctor was great in that aspect, having 11 and 10 come together and having 10 interact with Clara. So having that in a video game in interactive format would just be absolutely amazing. My second point is kind of almost like the first one, but except I really want to see legacy villains. I want to see monsters from Doctor Who's past merging together in this medium. I mean, yeah, the Daleks and the Weeping Angels are cool. You know, even having the Cybermen in there would be cool, but those are really standard villains. I want to see some more obscure stuff. Bring back things like the Krillitanes, or the Slitheen, or something that's really so one-off that they just don't really get seen, and having them come back in this, you know, bigger, grander way. I think people would be very cool with that, particularly with me. I really want to see the Vashta Nerada come back. I mean, they came back in that Doctor Who Adventures video game a while back, but I don't know, the Vashta Nerada are just epic, you know, and having them interact with lots of doctors and all companions, oh, it'd be amazing. And you could say that, like, this is almost like fan fiction-y stuff that I kind of want, like all these doctors together with these big monsters, but at the same time, this is definitely not going to be canon. This is going to be just a spin-off fun thing, so why not make it a little fun? So yeah, having more notable villains, or not even just notable ones, but just ones returning that we haven't seen in a while. Like I said, Krillitane, Slitheen, Vashta Nerada, even things like the Centaurans would be cool, or the Jadoon. You know, most of the representation goes to the Daleks, Cybermen, and Weeping Angels. Having a little more diversity in the kinds of monsters we get to see here would really be much appreciated. Even if they brought something new in, just make sure it's unique. I'm not a huge fan of the monsters that Chris Chibnall's, even Stephen Moffat towards the end of his run, I wasn't a huge fan of all of the monsters he introduced. But like early Moffat and Russell T Davies era Who monsters, or even like classic Who monsters, bringing classic Who monsters to the spotlight, but making them more modern and, you know, just overall more intimidating would be awesome. So the last 3 points all kind of tie into how I think the story should be structured and how I think the game should be structured as a whole. I think something that would work really well for this game is a branching paths narrative, or basically, to dumb it down, a story that kind of changes depending on the choices you make, kind of like a butterfly effect kind of thing. Think of like Until Dawn, Man of Medan, those kind of games. I think it would just work so well because it would add more emotional impact to the story. Now, it'd be kind of hard because you can't just kill off like Rose Tyler, like you can't just do that in the Doctor Who video game. But having a lot of build up with the side characters that the Doctor and the companion meet, and having those kind of decisions impact them, that would work really well. And not only that, but it would just impact how the Doctor and the companion feel at the end of the day. If you did good, maybe their attitudes are dampened towards a later part of the story where maybe they meet up with a future doctor and their attitudes are just worse and it just affects the whole story. Maybe this is just my own personal bias because I love those stories where your choices really do matter in the story. Like, that's just my personal kind of favorite storyline in a game, just simply because it makes the world feel more immersive because you really feel like you're making an impact. But I think Doctor Who would work really, really well from that. You know, it's just, I don't know, I just love it, and I really hope they do that here. Next up, I really want them to make this kind of an episodic thing. Not like Final Fantasy VII's having part 1 release, you know, not like a download thing, but on, you know, like let's say you get the Switch cartridge, right? Or PS4 disc or Xbox disc or whatever you get it on, and there are 10 episodes in the game, and you have to go through them one by one, and they're all just like episodes of Doctor Who. You know, one is like Invasion of the Daleks, you're the 10th Doctor and Martha, and, you know, you're fighting the Daleks, you know, that kind of thing. And then the second episode, you're the 12th Doctor with Bill Potts, and you're doing another sort of adventure. So having something like that kind of a structure, but having all the stories kind of intertwine with each other, having like that kind of narrative where you're playing all these seemingly separate episodes, but they all kind of come together in the end for one big narrative, that would just be so, so cool. And that's where the whole multiple doctors and companions things come in. You can have all these different doctors and companions, but have this narrative that kind of comes together, making the story a little more like a whole. So I really hope that they do that. I really, really hope that they do that. If this is the style, if this is the format that they go for, I'm sold. Like, I'm literally sold. Bring in all the doctors. Even get Christopher Eccleston, please. I would just love that. So yeah, having it as if it's an interactive season of the show is what I labeled it as in my notes. Just having it as that would be mind-blowing, amazing, and just something I would personally love. And the last point here is one that I really want to emphasize on, because of the fact that we know that this is a sequel, kind of, to The Edge of Time, and then there's one other game that's coming out on mobile that's also going to tie into this. This point I think is really, really important, just simply because of the fact that this story is spanning between VR, consoles, and mobile, and they're all different stories. I really think that this story should be able to stand on its own. It shouldn't rely on the game before it and the mobile game. It shouldn't rely on those. Just simply because of the fact that not a lot of people have VR. Not a lot of people like mobile games. So some people might just be getting this one, or some people might not even get this one and just play the mobile game. You know, some people might not get every single story. So making sure that it stands well on its own, you know, works. It would be a completely different story if this second game, you know, is a sequel to one that was out on consoles. But it's not. It's kind of its own little thing in the console world. So I think it should really stand on its own, and I'm really hoping that it's going to do that. So there you have it, guys. Those are 5 main points that I really wanted to talk about with this game, Doctor Who. I don't know what the subtitle for this game is, but I really hope that this game turns out really, really well, because I'm excited for it. I'm excited but yet nervous, because right now we're in an era of Doctor Who that I'm not a huge fan of, you know, quite yet, or if I'll ever be, I don't know. So that's why I really want to see a lot of this legacy content kind of in there. But regardless if it is just the 13th Doctor, or if we do get the legacy content, I will definitely be picking this game up. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll definitely be covering this game a lot more. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. And yeah, I guess that's really all I've got to say. So until next time, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.